So again, with extrude, it's how do we start to extrude? Well, there's the good old shortcut, which is the letter E, which I think, so let me just see where I'm. So just click the letter E, and that will bring up the extrude box. This is here. We also have here, because it's such a popular thing, we have extrude. And you also have on the create, we have extrude. There's also another one that we didn't mention because I was running out of time really before. There's also a right click menu quite often. So if you right click, you will see down at the bottom there, you can just shoot down to extrude. So there's just lots of ways you can get to extrude. What can we extrude? Well, obviously Russ then very well showed you how to make boxes. So that's a box. So we can, on here, the first thing it asks you to do is to select a profile. Now, technically, it should say profile or face, because you can select a profile, which is that one. But you can also select a face. So if you have already a body, you can extrude the face of a body. And you don't just have to extrude them up or down. You can, on this one, extrude that way out. So we can pull the body forwards and backwards. Now, an interesting thing with the body, if you extrude in a negative fashion, you actually cut it away. So if I carried on and 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 carried on, and then clicked OK, fundamentally, it would just erase the body completely. Okay. Let's go to. Okay, but sketching, sorry, extruding is more than just extruding. So when we just, the easiest way, as I said before, is always to just do the letter E. It will bring up the extrude box. Now, the first thing on the extrude box is that you think, well, extrude, that must be pretty easy. There's only about 4 or 5 options. That's not really difficult, is it? But first of all, there's 2 types of extrude. There is extrude and there is thin extrude. So let's just have a look at extrude. We're going to hit a profile. So the first thing it asks you for there is a profile. So we click that profile and then we just extrude it up and then hit return. Now, one of the things that, is it right? Is it wrong? I don't know. Whenever you create your first body from a sketch, the first thing it does is then hides that sketch. So if your sketch disappears, don't panic. Go back to your sketches over here and bring it back up. Now, it'll only do it once. It won't do it every time you create a body because that would be really, really annoying. But I don't know why it's there anyway. So that's extruding a profile. Now, what we can also do, get myself a bit organized here, is we do E for extrude. So that was extrude, now thin extrude. Same principle, just click a profile, drag it up, and then click OK. And that has produced a thin extrude. It's just an outer shell. We do extrude again. We do thin extrude. Now suddenly the extrude box has got bigger. It's added a few bits onto it. And this is the thing about Fusion. It's depending on what tools you're using, these boxes will change all the time. So the first thing it's going to ask you for is the profile. Well, that's what we did last time. But it's now got another button, which is called chaining. So if we click that and I remove that, with chaining unticked, you can now select individual sides for extrude. So you can extrude that up and you just extrude 3 sides, not 4 sides. Now, thin extrude is a really pretty cool thing. When you extrude, we go to thin extrude. We select the profiles. That's fine for this one. We select that one. Sorry, that really is in the way, isn't it? And then we pull that up. So that's exactly the same as the first one, but we've got even more options now. So what we've got here is a thing called wall thickness. So we can make the wall whatever thickness we want. So we can make that 10 mil thick, but it gets better than that because there's another box that says wall location. Now, at the moment, this is side one. Side one means it will make the thickness towards the inside of the profile shape. So we can do the same on the second one, thin extrude, select the profile, make the wall thickness 10 mil, but we'll go for center. Drag that up, and that will do 50-50 on the line, half of it on the inside of the profile, half of it on the outside. And the final one, thin extrude, select wall thickness of 10 mil. And then we can go side two, drag that up. Now, probably best viewed from the top. So if I just bring those to the center of the screen, then if we hover over that profile, you'll see a black line go around. It shows you that the wall thickness has gone to the inside of the profile. With this one, it's 50-50 because that's the center, and this one, it's on the outside. So let's go through that sketch palette again. So we do E for extrude. First thing we do is extrude. Second thing it asks you for is the profiles. So profiles, we can just click a profile and we can drag that up and then click OK. We can also extrude part of it. So we can just extrude that and bring that up 70 mil. We can extrude another part, which is that one, and again bring that up 70 mil. You can also do both of them. You can extrude and do the outer one and the inner one, drag that up, and you still end up with the same thing. 5 minutes, so I shall see how far I can get. Let's do another one. So we do extrude. So we're in extrude profiles. So we've selected that profile. Then it tells you where would you like it to start. So the first one is the profile plane. The profile plane is here. So if we drag that up 70 mil, hit return, that's where it starts. If we do another one and we extrude this outer piece, instead of starting at the profile plane, we can start at an offset. So the offset is in this next box down. So we can make that offset 70 mil. Now when we pull extrude, we are pulling 70 mil up, but instead of from the profile plane, we're pulling it up from an offset of that by 70 mil. And then we have another one, which is extrude. Let's do the little circle. And instead of starting it as an offset, we can actually start it from an object. So we click the top of this object, and then we pull that up 70 mil. We've started it from there, but all just with a couple of clicks. We do extrude, profile is this one. And then the next one we have direction. So we can extrude in one direction. So we can just extrude up. We can also extrude down. That's not a problem. So you can do negative extrude and positive extrude. We can extrude two sides. So what you now get is you get two arrows. So we can pull one up 30 mil and we can pull the other arrow down 40 mil. So that's extruding it in two directions. The other option is to do it symmetric. So if I pull this up 70 mil, it will pull up 70 mil that way and 70 mil that way. Now this actually brings up symmetric, another box, another option. And this is where you have currently, the measurement is selected as half the length. So what it's doing is it's going 70 mil that way and 70 mil that way. But if you just want it 70 mil overall, if you just click that box there, it will treat that 70 mil as the overall distance while it's symmetric. Extent type. So we do extrude there. And so far, I've just been dragging this up and down to 70 mil. But as with most options in Fusion, there's a little box that comes up and currently that says 60 mil. If you don't do anything and you just type in 70, hit return, it will extrude that to 70 mil. That's a distance. If we modify that, I can also put that 70 mil in here. So if I wanted to make that 80, I could do it that way and it would change that one. Extrude. If we do that profile and that profile, and the distance now, you have an option to do to an object. So if we just click the top of that one, which we know is 70 mil, that will extrude that. Sorry, let's do it to that one then, to 70 mil, and that will take that box up to 70 mil. There are other options here where we can do offsets, taper angles, but we'll look at that as a separate piece. We can do extrude. We can extrude the top of this body and the extent type. Sorry, now I've got myself confused here. I apologize. Let's cancel that one. So if we extrude that little round circle inside there, so we do extrude, and we want to extrude that little circle inside there. Now, there's different ways people tell you how to do this. One, you can switch the body off. Nice on this one because there's that many bodies in here, so you don't really want to do that. If you hover your mouse over the circle and hold down the left button, it will bring a little drop-down box, and that would allow you to do the face, which is there, the profile, which is the circle, or the other face, whatever your mouse was hovering over. So we want the profile. And the extent type here is all. Now, if we do all, what that will do is that will cut that right the way through to the top of the body. It will just cut everything that it sees. So the final one that I'm going to cover in this, there are a couple of other bits, but I think this is enough as it is. So E for extrude, we select this one. And a little tip again, if you just want to bring that to the same height as another object, just click that object and hit return. That will just take it. You don't need to bother about distance and to object and all the rest of it. If you want to pull that up to the same height as something else, just click the height where it is and hit return. That will take you to there. Now, the only other thing that you've got here is you've got a thing called taper angle. Now, this is quite handy, especially if you're doing it for molds. If you click in the taper angle, and if we make that 5 degrees, I don't know whether you can notice, but that's actually created on that box a taper angle of 5 degrees as you taper it up. Quite handy, like I said, if you're doing molds and things like that. Now, that's an outside taper. You can also do a negative taper. So you can do -5 degrees and that will taper it inwards. You can actually even do -55 degrees, which on something this small will make a little tiny triangle. Okay. Now, there is also a thing called a manipulator. It comes up quite often. So if we do that, what you'll notice is that can manipulate the shape visually if you prefer to draw in a visual style, because I don't know what degrees it is to create a little small square on the top. Looking at there is 25 degrees. With the visualizer, I can see which way that's going. Okay. So if we extrude, the final bit that we've got is the operation. So if we click that and we pull up, or we just click there, that will take us to 70 mil, almost 80 mil, that one on it. The operation here, there are different things. The standard is a new body or a new component. Either of those would be good. So that's a new body. So that's okay. So if we do that again, so we do extrude, we select the outer profile here. No, that one there, one of them 70, that one. Bring it up to there. That's new body. If we extrude again and we just hover over that little round circle, hold down your left mouse button and we go to profile. If we then click the top of the box there, it will automatically do a join operation. So it basically makes that all one body. Now, if we do extrude again, if we select, holding down the mouse key, that profile, and then hold it down again, that's that profile. We can then do it, the start is from an object, so we can start it from there. Let's come up 70 mil, and let's just do a new body for this one and click OK. There's a method in my madness, trust me. If we do extrude again, we go from there, come up 60 mil, create another new body. Okay. Extrude. If we want to make a hole, so this is a slightly advanced one. If we do hold down the left mouse key, we do that profile. We want to make a hole right the way through, which is what we've done. But let's just say we don't want a hole in the middle one. Okay, just for whatever reason. On the little option down here, we've got objects to cut. So we can untick one of the boxes. So we don't have to cut through all of the boxes, and we can click OK. Now, if we move them out, the bottom one's got a hole in it. The top one's got a hole in it. And as if by magic, the middle one doesn't. A little bit of Paul Daniels at the end. That's it.